Hello, everyone, and welcome to Studio De Jeffrey for today's edition of Here's Some Stuff About the Cowboys. Today, what I want to do is talk about the lessons the Cowboys could and should learn from the four teams who are going to continue to play football. And the Cowboys are not one of them. If you haven't been paying attention, they lost a little over a week ago. Season's over. But that's okay. It just means it's time for draft content, team building things. Also, a little Sean Payton update and what I would love to see the Cowboys coaching staff look like going into next year, because I was asked it by a guy on Twitter. I'm at JC1053. Which team should we go with first? How about the Los Angeles Rams, who will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC title game? Here's what you can learn, Cowboys, from the Los Angeles Rams. Don't be afraid to have cojones when it comes to player acquisition. Von Miller wrecked that game. Without Von Miller, the Rams don't win. But they have Von Miller, so the Rams did win. Jalen Ramsey. It's a Jaguar. He wasn't going to be there long term. People were unhappy. Whatever. We'll take him. Odell Beckham. Oh, my God, is he what's wrong in Cleveland? What? This guy, he's just not what he once was. We'll take him. And, of course, Matt Stafford. They had an okay quarterback. They decided okay wasn't good enough, so they got a pretty good quarterback, maybe even a good quarterback. Apologies. Don't be afraid to be aggressive. Be a team and a coaching staff that can handle individuals, personalities. They weren't afraid to take on Jalen Ramsey. They weren't afraid to take on Odell Beckham. They're going to help us win at football? We'll take them. Don't be afraid. Add the good players. What can the Cowboys learn from the San Francisco 49ers? Having a kick-ass front is still a really good way to win at football. Having variety and creativity in the running game is still a good way to win at football. If you do all the other things well, you can beat good teams even without a great quarterback. Daniel Jeremiah would say, are you a truck or a trailer? Jimmy Garoppolo is a trailer. They don't ask him to win a game. They ask him, please don't F it up. That's all they want from Jimmy. Please don't F this up for us. Because they play defense. Because they can win with their front four. Because they can stop the run with a light box. And then they can play 2 deep, 4 deep. They can bail out, play a bunch of coverage, double team the best receiver. It still works. You guys remember that. 49ers did the exact same thing to the Packers that they did to the Cowboys. They got pressure with a 4-man rush. They were able to stop the run without having an extra guy in the box. They were able to play coverage. If you can do that, life's hard on Aaron Rodgers too. Physicality is still good. Physicality is still very good. They pride themselves on it. And doing whatever it takes to have your best player touch the ball a bunch is a good idea. 49ers do that. Deebo Samuel, it's another game where 3rd and 7, and they hand it to Deebo Samuel, and he gets the first down and gets them into easy field goal range. Deebo Samuel's a stud. So Kyle Shanahan and, oh no, don't brain fart. I'm trying to steal this guy. Mike McDaniel, the offensive coordinator. Get your best players the ball. Figure it out. Put them where you have to. Get them the ball. Cincinnati Bengals. What can the Cowboys learn from the Cincinnati Bengals? This one's a little harder because they got to play the Titans, the worst 1 seed in the history of the NFL, and the Bengals didn't even really play that well. But I'll try. Seeing ghosts is for cowards. Joe Burrow gets sacked all the time. Whatever. Just going to keep slinging. Get your ass beat sometimes and just keep slinging it around to make good plays. Throw the ball to your best player all the time. Sometimes risk reward can be a good thing. That's what you can learn from the Bengals. And maybe that kickers with swag are fun. I don't know if you guys heard what Burrow said about their kicker. What was his name? Evan McSwaggy? When they were lining up to win the game and walk it off, McPherson took one practice swing with his leg, and he's standing next to Burrow, and he goes, well, guess we're going to the AFC title game. Swaggy kickers are fun. What can the Cowboys learn from the Kansas City Chiefs? Go get Pat Mahomes. 13 seconds is plenty. They did have timeouts. 13 seconds is plenty. Speed kills. Tyreek Hill makes incredibly fast people look super slow. If you have a weakness, aggressively address it. The Chiefs changed out 4 of their 5 offensive linemen this year. They started 2 rookies on the offensive line. And in the vein of what the Rams do as well, they added Melvin Ingram because early in the year their defense was bad. They added Melvin Ingram, which allowed them to put Chris Jones back where he should be on the interior, and suddenly, voila, the defense came alive. Be aggressive as a team builder. That's part of it. That's what your Cowboys can learn from the 4 playoff teams remaining. Tell me what you think you could learn from any of these different teams that are still playing, what you want the Cowboys to have learned in the comments at youtube.com/Jeff Cavanaugh. Now we move on to Sean Payton real quick. The Sean Payton rumorooskies, you're going to have people tell you that they know something or they know this or they know that. Nobody knows anything. I know that Jerry Jones is not happy with the way it ended. I know that Jerry Jones is not as big a Mike McCarthy guy as Stephen Jones is. So I know that Jerry Jones is open to the idea of upgrading at coach, and he would view Sean Payton that way, and they have a relationship. So do I know that if Sean Payton were to be available to the Cowboys, that Jerry Jones would be interested in that? Yeah. Do I know that Sean Payton is interested in being the coach of the Cowboys? Kinda. But Sean Payton has 3 years left on a contract. Sean Payton might just be wore out and want to do TV. Sean Payton might just be going to coach the Saints, and we're all just freaking out because he hasn't, quote, committed to returning to the Saints, which is kind of a weird sentence to begin with from Rappaport, because which coach, when the season's over, that has 3 years left on a contract, like calls the owner to say, hey, I'll be back next year? Of course you will. You're under contract. You don't have to tell me that. I already know that. So my percentage that Sean Payton is the coach of the Cowboys this next year is 13.2%. Get at 13.2%, but it's possible. It's possible. Kevin on Twitter asked me, what's your ideal coaching staff going into the season? Head coach Sean Payton. A lot of people hate Sean Payton. I don't love Sean Payton as much as some people do. Like, he's not totally dissimilar to Mike McCarthy in that he had an all-time great quarterback for a long time and he won 1 Super Bowl. But I do think he consistently gets the most you can out of quarterbacks. Like all the times that he's been missing Drew Brees and they're still competitive. They just went 9-8, didn't even have Jameis. I think Sean Payton can make the most out of whatever he's got offensively and for his quarterback. So I'll say Sean Payton's my ideal head coach going into the year. Dan Quinn's my ideal defensive coordinator. If Dan Quinn takes another job, I would throw in the name Wink Martindale, who just left Baltimore, as their defensive coordinator. So give me Payton, Quinn/Martindale. OC, I don't even know. I wish I could steal Mike McDaniel from San Francisco, but that's not how it works. You can't. You're not going to leave an OC spot for an OC spot. Offensive line coach, Bill Callahan. That's easy. Callahan Auto Parts. Bill Callahan's a monster. Running game Moses. You have Bill Callahan. I promise you your offensive line can block. I promise you that they can block. OC is where I'm kind of stuck. Maybe you guys could give me some suggestions. Gosh, I guess it's probably going to be Kellen Moore again, which I don't love. But I don't have a name that's just popping in my brain. Maybe Joe Brady, who got run out of Carolina because Matt Rule's a crusty. And he was like, man, we don't run the ball enough. We need to run the ball more. And Joe Brady's like, what? And so they hired Ben McAdoo. And his rule of 53 or whatever is Pete Carroll line of thinking. Payton, Quinn/Martindale, Bill Callahan, OC. Let me think on it. Let me marinate on it. I'll let you know. Thanks for checking this out, everybody. I'll see you on the radio from 2 to 7 today. G-Bag Nation on 105.3, The Fan, the home of the Cowboys. 2 to 7. 5 whole hours. That's the kind of dedication we have. Newest episode of Trust the Tape is out as well if you're way into the college stuff, if you're into the draft. Brian Broaddus and I went over Dane Brugler's mock draft and gave some scouting reports on a bunch of those players to get you ready for who you might have available for your Cowboys. All right, everybody. I love you. What was the other thing I wanted to do? Oh, my thing. What's my thing? You have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everyone. I love you. Bye.